Europe's largest airliner, Lufthansa, just announced massive layoffs. 4,000 full-time employees are getting fired. And today we're going to cover exactly why they're doing that, but I also really want to highlight who is being impacted. This is the most important thing, guys. If you want to grow your company, you need to know where the opportunities are. And if you want to stay hired and relevant and financially free, you're going to need to know what positions you need to shift and how you need to move and adapt to this global market. So let's get into the video, and if you're into that sort of topic, if you want to be successful in the AI age, definitely hit the like, subscribe button. I appreciate it, the algorithm appreciates it, and guys, the comments are on fire. There's so many awesome dudes that are just really fired up about the opportunities that are available in this AI age. So let's start by talking about who is impacted. Lufthansa released a statement. They said they are reviewing which activities will be no longer necessary in the future, for instance, due to duplication of work. And, you know, on one hand, this is actually not anything majorly new. Restructuring for large organizations and separating the wheat from the chaff is a pretty normal thing. But what makes this different is how they're using artificial intelligence to replace those jobs. And, you know, once this gets momentum, it's just going to roll farther and faster than ever before. So who is being fired? Who's being laid off, right? This is the important thing. Am I being laid off? Am I at risk? If they're doing it with Lufthansa, are they going to come over here and do layoffs in the States or at other organizations? The answer is yes, it's definitely going to happen. So who's being laid off? They are focused on laying off administrative, non-operational roles. In English, that means finance, HR, internal reporting, compliance, IT, all those jobs are at risk. And again, nothing new. We covered how HR, I'll post a link to the video up here. We've been talking a lot about HR recently. HR jobs are really, really at risk. So that's definitely a time and a place where you want to be adjusting. Which roles are safe? At least for the meantime, are going to be pilots, flight attendants, maintenance crew. They're not necessarily targets right now. Now, I would expect and anticipate that AI is going to play a much broader role in other areas of airlines. So for example, predictive maintenance, check-ins. Have you actually gone to an airline recently? You walk in, you step up, you don't even need to speak to a flight attendant. You push a couple buttons on a self-check-in kiosk and then you're good to go. Now, there's not a lot of AI happening there. This is just kind of like going to a self-checkout at Walmart, for example. However, I do think it's indicative of a role of removing humans, removing friction from the check-in process. Because I'll be honest with you, I love speaking to humans. I love it. That's why I'm engaging with you guys in the comments. Hundreds and hundreds. I went to sleep last night. I had, I think, 150 comments to respond to, and I really enjoy that. But it's sometimes like when I'm going to order a cheeseburger, I don't necessarily need to talk to a human being. I would rather not wait in line. Just let me push the button and pick up my food. Same thing with an airline. I don't want to sit in a huge line to check in my bag. Just let me plug it in real quick. So reducing and removing the friction. You're also going to see, I think, AI playing a bigger role in baggage handling, optimization, and in customer service. This, I think, is something that people are completely underestimating, the power of customer service and the role that AI voice is playing there, is playing and will continue to play. I just shot a video on this a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago. Salesforce laid off 45% of their customer service staff. I'll post a link to the video here because it's pretty shocking. 45% of their customer service staff axed. They are now going to be using AI robots to handle those calls. And I know one of the common comments I see is, yeah, but I like speaking to humans. And okay, that's fair. I also know that speaking to humans can be very frustrating. And guys, when I say AI customer service, we're not talking your traditional, like, if you want assistance, push 1. If you have a question, press 2. If you have a problem you need solved, press 3. Now, I'm not talking that. I'm talking like a real engaged chatbot that sounds like a human, that has inflection like a human. These things sound really real. In fact, you've probably spoken with them, had a great experience, and didn't even realize that you didn't speak to a human. This to me is something that is, you know, we talk about things like autonomous vehicles playing a big role, and I think that they will, but customer service AI chatbots are like happening now in a very major way. Again, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent. I don't want to do that. So let's get back to the video. But regardless, that is a role that I think is at insanely large risk right now, is customer service, especially if you're in a call center. Not customer facing. The customer facing, shaking hands at like a Verizon store getting paid $15 an hour, you're probably gonna be good, but you're not exactly gonna be feeding your family off that type of a job. Okay, so like I mentioned before, efficiency and restructuring, this is nothing new, but what is interesting, I think, in this case is the reasoning and the motivation behind it, right? The company explicitly cited, this is not speculation, they explicitly cited digitalization and artificial intelligence is the key reason. And why is that? Well, because AI is capable of things that it wasn't capable of in the past. It's capable of way more now. AI is capable and able to streamline administrative and back office tasks. They also stated, and this is crazy, they stated they plan to increase the administrative fires to 20% of the admin staff. So right now they're just kind of like, yeah, we're at about 5% of the staff we're gonna lay off. Now they're saying, but we're not done there. As the AI gets better, we plan to go up to 20%. And the question I have for you guys is this, and feel free to type it in the comments below. I love that. But here's the question I have. When it comes to layoffs, when it comes to firing, when it comes to deciding who they're going to keep and who they're going to let go, how do you think they're going to make that decision? Because this is coming to your organization too, by the way. If you're working at an organization, this question is going to be, you need to be thinking about this right now. Who are they going to lay off? Who are they going to keep on? And how are they going to make that decision? And by the way, if you're not sure, you can ask ChatGPT. Regardless, if you're working in a big organization, this question you need to be asking yourself now. And guys, if you own a business, if you're growing a business, you need to be thinking about this too. And I think you're going to agree with me here on my line of reasoning here. Okay. I'm going to paint a picture for you here to kind of illustrate a little bit better. There's a really popular movie back in the late 90s, early 2000s called Office Space. Smash the like button if you've seen Office Space. Great movie. But there's a scene in Office Space where they bring in the Bobs. And the Bobs are these two nerdy guys who come and they sit down in an administrative office, and their job is to interview all the existing employees in the organization, right? And there's this one guy who's freaking out, like, they're gonna fire us, they're gonna fire all of us. And he was not wrong, because the Bobs were brought in with one purpose: to separate the wheat from the chaff, to lay off people. And my question to you is this: when the Bobs come in and they ask you, how are you using, what is the value you bring to the organization? How are you using artificial intelligence to do your job better? What is your answer? What's your answer? And if your answer is, I don't like AI, I just think it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, it's just an Indian guy that's being hired, it's always an Indian. How do you think they're gonna respond back to you? Whether you like it or not, just be real with me for a minute, guys. Don't be emotional about it, be real. We're men, we're gonna be real, right? We prefer facts, right? What do you think they're gonna say? If your answer is, I don't like AI, I prefer humans, I don't trust the robots, what do you think they're gonna say? And you may be right. Just for the sake of argument, you may be right. But if these companies are as motivated as they appear to be to implement AI and efficiency, you do not have a cultural alignment with the goals of the organization at that point. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? If your idea is, I don't need to learn, I know what I'm doing, I've done it this way for the last 20 years, you don't have a cultural alignment with the vision or the organizational structure that's being put into place. So I would encourage you to think about that right now, because what does it come down to? How do you remain relevant, respect, and financially free? 3 things that men during the AI age really need. We really need relevancy, respect, and financial freedom. How do we do it? We need to upskill now. We need to be learning new skills. We need to be trying new things. We need, if there's routine tasks that you're doing, you need to be seeing, hey, can I use an AI agent to do this? How can I work with management to make sure this happens? And guys, if you're not sure exactly even how to use AI, just go to ChatGPT and tell them what you do and ask, what are some programs? What are some techniques? What are some things that I might be able to automate? Very, very, very easy way of getting that done. Second, build your relationships, the people you know. I know we don't like playing interoffice politics, but the people you know are going to matter quite a bit when it comes to who gets hired, who gets fired, who gets replaced. Okay, very important. And the last thing that I'll put down there is additional income streams. The problems that we're solving today are not necessarily going to be the same problems that we're solving in 5 years, or in 2 years even. AI and automation are changing every position. AI is going to be solving a lot of problems that humans are not going to need to solve anymore. So the way that I think about it is, and I say this in every video because I think I just want to hit it home, and we're getting tens of thousands of new viewers here on the channel every day, which is pretty insane. Thank you for being here. But I am going to need to reinvent myself every 2 years for the rest of my professional life, because the problems I'm solving now are not going to be the problems that I'm solving in the future. And so, you know, it could be that your main source of income now, just the problem that you're solving doesn't matter anymore. Like, example, you're driving for Uber. Maybe that's your prime source of income. And, you know, maybe that's your prime source of income, okay? But what if autonomous vehicles just really take off? Then what do? You need to have side incomes going on. So that's the way I'm thinking about it. You know, I've got my one main income. Like, I don't get paid a lot of money to use YouTube videos. I do it because because I really enjoy it. I love it. And people that walk daily tend to live 10 years on average. So these are all reasons why I do this. But I make a little bit of change. I make a few $100 a month. I'm happy with that. And considering how many new viewers are watching, I'm happy to continue doing it because you guys tend to like it. You're leaving tons of comments. I'm learning a lot. I'm making new connections. So I'm happy to do it. It's fun. Okay. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make here is that relying on one source of income is a little bit risky. It's a little bit risky, guys, because the job market out there sucks. It sucks. It is really hard to find a job right now. I covered this in a video a little while ago, how, you know, you're not just competing against humans anymore. You're competing against AI agents trying to get all these jobs. You know, when you go and you fill out an application, if you're doing it manually, just realize that there's 1,000 other AI bots that are filing for that same application. So I don't want to go too long in this video. I've said my piece. Lufthansa is yet another exhibit to submit to the court. They are firing a bunch of people. Nothing new. All the companies are doing it. And all the companies are stating that AI and automation is a primary reason for it. So it's time to listen. It's time to pay attention, guys, because this is happening. And I'll just close it by saying, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it. Glad to have you here as part of the community. Leave a sick comment. If it's great, I'll pin you. I'll pin your comment. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But if you are kind of struggling with this concept of upskilling and where we're at, watch yesterday's video. Watch yesterday's video. I'll post a link to it here. I'm going to cover the 3 most common toxic responses that I read when it comes to AI. And I'm not saying that they're completely wrong, but I don't think that they're the way that we should be thinking in this day and age. So check out that video from yesterday. Top 3 toxic responses. And by the way, if you stick around to about three-fourths the way through, my daughter hops into the video from behind. She video bombs me. So if you're into that sort of funny thing, then that's there too. All right, boys, I'll see you in the next video, all right? Peace.